What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the 2023 Nintendo Switch year-end review. I think that this was one of the best years for the Nintendo Switch, which is interesting because a lot of people think the Switch is on its last legs, but we're going to talk about that and recap the entire year right now. So in January, we got Fire Emblem Engage, a very divisive, I would say, Fire Emblem game to many people. Now, this game for me was actually my favorite of the two on the Nintendo Switch. I get that the story wasn't quite as good, and the world building, it wasn't quite as special, but I think that the battle system here, which is a lot of where you spend your time in Fire Emblem, was so much better. It went back to that rock, paper, scissors battle system, and it was one of my favorite games because of that. I traditionally am not a tactical RPG person, but this game gripped me because I loved its art style, I loved the characters, and I really had a good time with the battle system. Not to dog on anything from Fire Emblem Three Houses, but this game is more of a Fire Emblem game for me, I think, than Three Houses is. Now moving on to February, with the February Direct, we got some really crazy announcements. One of them was that Metroid Prime Remastered was going to be shadow dropped, and it shocked everybody. It shocked me. We were super surprised, and now you can see I have the physical one here, but if you look closely, it's actually sealed, and that is because I got it when it first came out, and I have it digitally, and I played it that way. And I really love this game. I think it is one of the greatest, games that people have talked about for so long, and I finally was able to play it with a modernized control system, because I had tried Metroid Prime previously, but it was not my favorite thing, because I couldn't get over how shitty the controls were. But after they fixed those controls, I can really experience what I think is a really amazing game. I made a review about it. I did really enjoy the game. I think that some people got the wrong interpretation, because I did say, some things in this game are a little bit obtuse. I don't love some of the fetch quests, but as a whole, I think it's a very, very fun game. February was a huge month because not only did we get that Nintendo Direct and obviously Prime Remastered, but we also got Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe. This game absolutely slaps. It is a very, very fun game. Now, it's a port of a Wii game, so if you've played the Wii Kirby's Return to Dreamland, it's very fun. It's a very good Kirby game, and it takes us back to the tried and true Kirby formula, which I think is great, because after something like Forgotten Land, if you want that more traditional Kirby experience, this is a great one to go into. But it does a lot more with this port, because you actually get Magolor's whole entire backstory, his epilogue as they call it, and it's really, really fantastic. It's literally a beat 'em up with a skill tree and levels and all that kind of stuff baked into this game, and it makes me really, really want a Magolor full game. I feel like it could do so well. March was a pretty slow year, but we had two absolute bangers, and Kirby was at the end, so I think Kirby's almost for March. But March 17th, we got Bayonetta Origins, a game that I know a lot of people love. It's not a game for me, but if you like that game, hey, all power to you. You know what? Since I love you so much that you like Bayonetta Origins, can you please subscribe? And then in April, we got a really good game, Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp. This was a very fun package, and I'm very glad it finally came out. Now, this game was announced 2 years back, and it got delayed and delayed and delayed because of very important world events, so it's fair. But I was getting worried that this game was never actually going to come out. So once we got that launch date at the February Direct, and now to have it in my hands is very, very exciting. It is the first two Advance Wars games completely remade with a new art style that I think is really charming and cute, really fun characters, really great art design, and the gameplay, again, is a tactical RPG, which I'm not a huge fan of, but for some reason, I actually sort of really got into Advance Wars, I think because it sort of reminded me of Clash Royale, where you take the towers and stuff, and it made me an Advance Wars fan because I actually never played an Advance Wars other than those two, so I might go back and play the originals. I might not. We'll see how I feel. But moving on to May, this was obviously the biggest month for the Nintendo Switch because we got the release of Tears of the Kingdom. This game, the importance of this game cannot be understated. Now, this is a game we've been waiting for a long time, and after hearing very little about it, people were starting to get a little bit worried, but once this came out, I think it eased everybody's minds, and it was just so much fun. The Sky Islands, the depths, everything about this game was really good, and I think this really was the culprit of Nintendo having such a strong year. Yes, they had a lot of really great supplemental releases, but this and one other game were absolute bangers, and sort of, in my mind, a repeat of one of the greatest years for the Nintendo Switch, 2017. And we'll get into that other game later. But I know there's a lot of people dogging on Tears of the Kingdom right now. I think that's the cycle for Zelda games. They come out, people love them. Then, like, a couple months later, everybody hates it. And this isn't actually a good game. And then, like, 10 years from now, everyone's going to look on it very fondly. I think it's hard to differentiate it from Breath of the Wild a little bit if you're looking back. But, you play the game side by side. They are very different experiences. And I personally really loved Tears of the Kingdom. Now, with the most bizarre game that we got this year, it was June 30th's release of Everybody Wants to Switch. This game was not in a trailer. It wasn't even in a trailer. They just released some art for it on Twitter and said that it was coming out June 30th. And I think this stressed a lot of people out. Why would we get a sequel to a game that already sucks? Everybody Wants to Switch is literally a direct sequel to 1-2 Switch, a launch game for the Switch that nobody liked. People only bought it because it was a launch game, because there was nothing else to play on the system at that time, except for obviously Breath of the Wild. But if you want a different type of flavor, you get 1-2 Switch, and it's an alright game. It's not horrendous, but it's not good. And the thing is everybody's 1-2 Switch isn't good either. Granted, it does have some fun ideas with, like, smartphone connectivity and stuff like that, so, like, sort of, if you know the Jackbox games, you can sort of think of that. But at the same time, it was not a well-done game. I think that something like this just doesn't need to come out in the are we in the 6th year? The 6th year of the Nintendo Switch. It's just unnecessary. But pulling us from the bootstraps is actually my favorite game of the year, which came out July 21st, and that is Pikmin 4. Pikmin 4 is one of the greatest games, and I think Pikmin was such an exciting release, and people were worried about it for a very long time. Could this live up to the hype? Could this be as great of a game as we're going to need it to be? And in my opinion, it far exceeded it. Now, it did promise a couple things that I don't think it quite delivered on, but the gameplay itself is amazing, and Ochi as a companion really changes up the Pikmin style and modernizes it a bit, I think, for people just trying to get into Pikmin. And overall, it was a really amazing game. There's also a ton of post-credit, content, after-credit content. What is that, New Game Plus? I don't know. There's a lot of content after you beat the game, and so I think for the fact that you can keep coming back to Pikmin, and the fact that the art style is so beautiful, it is one of the best games of the year, and a banger on the Nintendo Switch. Pikmin 4, Tears of the Kingdom, and one more game for me really made and cemented this year as the best Nintendo Switch year, in my opinion. Now, we got a little surprise because we had a direct in September, of course, and we got the announcement and shadow drop of F-Zero 99. Now, this was very exciting for me because a lot of people were really wanting F-Zero to make a comeback, and there was rumors of that GX port, and that never materialized, but what we did get was a brand new F-Zero game in the 99 format. Now, we were getting rid of Pac-Man 99, which I think is a little bit sad, and we're replacing it here with F-Zero 99, and I'm really praying to God that this game sticks around. I think it takes advantage of the 99 format very well, and it does it justice in almost every single way. It's fun because there's always a lot of new content. They released a lot of new tracks early on, and it felt like a game that was living and breathing, and it had a very healthy ecosystem, so hopefully it could last for a while. I haven't played it in about a month, but I think it's a great game to go back to in between other games, and I think it is the best implementation of the 99 style we have ever had. Now, September for us was not the biggest of months for 2023. I think since so much was happening in May and July with Pikmin 4 and Tears of the Kingdom, they went a little light, which was very smart in September, and they gave us F-Zero 99 like we just talked about, and Pikmin 1+2 came out physically. This is a package that I think is amazing, and I think it's fantastic that now we have literally every single Pikmin game on the Nintendo Switch. If you got into it with 4, you can go back and play the entire history of the games. And now they didn't do too much with 1+2. It's not like Advance Wars where it's a from-the-ground remake, but it is still a very good package of 2 great games, 2 games that I need to finish and get on, so eventually that will happen. I'm working through them right now, but they are very fun. A bit dated, obviously, because they were the first couple, but I think they still hold up pretty well. So October 6th comes around, and everybody's a little worried, like, what are we going to get in October? Because we had a massive game coming out, but Nintendo tested the waters with Detective Pikachu Returns. This game was not very good. It's sort of fun if you kind of like the Detective Pikachu style. It's not a terrible game, and for a kid it might be good if they really like Pokemon, but I think it was kind of a complete disappointment. The graphics don't look very good either, and just sort of the whole thing about this game is very repetitive, and you're going to find find mysteries out so much sooner than the game wants you to, and it gets very, very frustrating. It is a good game. There's not a lot of issues with it per se, but it doesn't do anything new. It's not very fun either. Like, if you love Pokemon and you buy anything Pokemon has, by all means check it out. But if not, I don't think it's a must-play. On October 20th, we got Super Mario Wonder, and this is the trifecta of the amazing games. Now we have Tears of the Kingdom, Pikmin 4, and Super Mario Bros. Wonder, which is so amazing and reinvented the Mario style. Before this game, we had gotten new Super Mario games for the last, I don't know, like 20 years, and we hadn't come out with a brand new Mario game in a very long time. And so getting Super Mario Bros. Wonder was just a breath of fresh air, with the Wonder Seeds just changing up every single level, all this random shit happening, Mario's on acid, what's going on, power-ups, badges, elephants. There's so much to love with this game, and if you haven't played it yet, I highly, highly recommend you get Super Mario Bros. Wonder. I think if you're looking for games right after you got a Nintendo Switch for Christmas or something, you gotta get Wonder, Pikmin 4, and Tears of the Kingdom. It is just, those are some of the best games on the Nintendo Switch, and they all came out this year. Now, after that, we did have to follow it up with something a bit less overwhelming, and we got WarioWare Move It. I actually liked this game quite a bit. It's a very true return to form, I guess, for WarioWare. If you like Shake It on the Wii, it's basically that, but on the Switch. It's cute, it's fun, it's a good little distraction. I don't think it's game-changing or anything, but if you're a fan of Wario, of the WarioWare series, it is pretty good, and you can play it with other people. Co-op's pretty fun. You just do goofy shit. It's a good time, but I don't think it's a must-play or anything. Now, to close out on all the games we've played for the Nintendo Switch this year, we got Super Mario RPG. This game really is a good time. I think they remade the original game beautifully, and they did a lot of modernizations, I think, that really helped it be interesting and engaging towards me. I wasn't someone who was really interested in the first Mario RPG. I respected where it came from, but I didn't think it was a must-play. But after playing it here, I'm really, really enjoying it. I like the style of it. I haven't quite beaten it yet, but I'm getting there. I like how fast the battles are. You're pretty much in and out every single time, and it's overall just a very, very fun and very polished experience. Graphically, it also looks beautiful, and it keeps a lot of that charm from the original with those sort of squished down sprites. As a whole, I think 2023 was a fantastic year for the Nintendo Switch. It is clear that we are about to move on to the next generation, because what's to come for 2024, we don't really know. So it feels like in 2024, hopefully we might get the announcement of the next console. We will have to see. Whatever happens. If we don't get a new console, I'm sure Nintendo's going to put out some banger games. As a whole, I'd probably rate 2023 as like a 9 out of 10. I think it was an absolute banger year for the Nintendo Switch, and I really look forward to what's to come for Nintendo. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed, make sure to like it, subscribe down below, and check out this video. It's a banger. It's a vibe. It's a good time. Thank you for watching to the end. You are one of the few, so I salute you. Bye.